This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology. The images are for illustration purposes only. Your Excellency, this Tao Wu is too much of a bully. In front of the people of Empyrean 1 Pavilion, the warrior's head exploded like a watermelon, which immediately ignited everyone's anger, as if they had been provoked by a lower-class person. The flames of anger burned fiercely, and they all asked for permission to fight. The restriction of Tianyuan Trading Company was broken, and a large number of houses were destroyed. Ding Ling and the others appeared in front of everyone. Compared with the anger and arrogance of Tianyi Trading Company, the people of Tianyuan Trading Company were extremely nervous and the atmosphere was heavy. Ding Ling. You dare to kill my people. Everyone from the Empyrean 1 Pavilion stood in the middle, and Su Donha was sitting on a throne. Her whole body was livid with anger, and she couldn't believe it. She gritted her teeth and said, "You are indeed malignant. The Merchant Union doesn't need malignant tumors like you." His eyes were full of killing intent, and his cold voice spread out as he shouted, "Kill them all, don't leave a single one." He had made up his mind to completely eradicate Tianyuan Trading Company this time. He had planned to follow the old rules and show his stance and reason with them, but now it seemed that he had been overthinking. Su Donha's eyes were burning with passion. The history of the Merchant Union was about to change at this moment, and she was writing the times. Since that was the case, then all of them should just die. Ren Guangjuan and Li Feiyu, as the representatives of the 10,000 Treasures building, also came. The two of them looked at each other and saw the deep worry in each other's eyes. From Myriad Treasures Store's point of view, Tianyuan Trading Company could be suppressed, but it would not disappear at this moment. The two of them had even made plans to deal with it. At least, they would try to keep the empty shell of Tianyuan Chamber of Commerce and use it as a bargaining chip when the board members were redivided. However, they did not expect that the people of Tianyuan Chamber of Commerce would be so radical and kill without saying anything. As a result, it was now a completely one-sided situation, and it was difficult to deal with it. With a shout, the Empyrean 1 Pavilion and many affiliated chambers of commerce all rushed forward with murderous intent. Although they didn't have thousands of troops and horses, they were all powerful warriors. Their aura burst out, and the fluctuations even reached outside the city, changing the color of the sky. The crowd of Tianyuan Trading Company retreated in horror under this momentum. They felt bitter in their hearts, thinking that they had chosen the wrong side and were afraid that they would be annihilated today. If they had known this would happen, they would have chosen to join others. You won't die if you don't seek death. Ren Guangzheng looked at the group of people from Tianyuan Trading Company who were waiting to be slaughtered like chickens and couldn't help but sigh. Li Feiyu frowned. The shock caused by the two profound-level weapons was too great, so he could not see how the Marshal Supreme had died. The only thing he was sure of was that he had been killed by Yun Shao. He would find it hard to believe that Yun Shao could kill a marshal venerable with his strength, and there must be some reason he did not know. But at this moment, when the people of the Heavenly 1 Pavilion rushed up, he could not see the slightest fear on Yun Shao's face, not to mention fear, he did not even panic. What's going on? Could it be that he has a plan? Li Feiyu was suspicious. Other than the martial sovereigns, the rest of the martial sovereigns had genuine panic and fear on their faces. It didn't seem like they had any trump cards. You scumbag of Tianyuan Trading Company, pay with your life. Don't blame me for destroying a flower today. I'm going to take this flower, one of the two goddesses of the Merchant Union. How dare you go against my Empyrean 1 Pavilion? You should be prepared to die. The group of martial artists roared. All of them were in high spirits. The strongest among them were only two martial supremes. The main force of Empyrean 1 Pavilion was not among these people. They were all warriors transferred from the affiliated Chamber of Commerce to test their loyalty and save their own combat strength. In this kind of large-scale gang battle, they would send their minions and cannon fodder first. However, the martial artist who used the profound-level weapon cube was from the Empyrean 1 Pavilion, which was the reason why Su Donha was so angry. However, in everyone's opinion, these cannon fodders were enough to destroy Tianyuan Trading Company. Even the minions thought so. First Elder Su, please spare me. The three of us are from the Luochu Chamber of Commerce and were forcibly abducted by the Tianyuan Chamber of Commerce. We have no choice but to obey their orders. Elder Su, please save us from this disaster. The three martial emperor powerhouses from Luochu Chamber of Commerce exchanged a look with each other before they suddenly rose into the air and rushed toward the Empyrean One Pavilion. Yes, I've also heard about the three of you. A rare smile appeared on Su Donha's face as she said, my Empyrean One Pavilion won't mistreat you for forsaking the darkness and joining the light. But now, you have to show me some determination and action. The expressions of the three of them changed slightly. They knew that what Su Donha wanted was their proof of loyalty. Their faces immediately revealed a determined look, and they shouted, "Thank you, Elder Su, for forgiving us. Now, the three of us will be loyal to Empyrean One Pavilion with all our hearts. We will bring Ding Ling's head to you." The three of them stopped flying in the air and immediately turned around. Together with the other subsidiary forces, they turned around and rushed over with excited expressions. The three of them were secretly full of praise and self-joy for obtaining a chance of survival in the face of death and even making a great contribution. At this moment, the people of Tianyuan Chamber of Commerce were in even more despair, and the other people of Luochu Chamber of Commerce didn't have the mood to sit still and wait for death. They all shouted that they wanted to abandon the dark and join the light. However, Su Donha's words made them completely despair. I can still accept a martial sovereign from the ninth heaven if he joins us. However, you pieces of trash, you've chosen the wrong side. Death is the only path for you. Kill all of you, leave no one alive. Under Su Donha's brutal orders, Tianyuan Trading Company and its vassals, as well as the remaining martial artists of Luochu Trading Company, all stopped their fear and their eyes flashed with determination and desperation. The killing intent in Yunxiao's eyes grew stronger and stronger. When the three martial sovereigns rebelled, he did not show much expression, as if he had expected it. But when he heard them say that they were going to take Ding Ling's head, an uncontrollable killing intent spread out from the bottom of his heart and condensed into a faint purple mist around him as if it was about to materialize. Even Mo Xiaochuan and Halian Xiaohuang were taken aback by Yunxiao's murderous aura. They clicked their tongues, knowing that the three men's words had touched Yunxiao's bottom line. Xiaochuan, let me see how strong you've become since you left me back then. Suddenly, Yunxiao said in an indifferent voice, I hope you won't let me down. Mo Xiaochuan's heart skipped a beat. A strong fighting spirit shot out from his eyes. His entire being was like a sharp sword that was about to be unsheathed, causing everyone to be shocked. What? All the martial sovereigns' hearts skipped a beat as they turned to look at Mo Xiaochuan. The unparalleled fighting spirit that had erupted from his body in that instant had triggered the martial spirit in everyone's heart. Mo Xiaochuan's lips curled into a smile as he replied softly, Young Master Yun, just watch. No one but Halian realized that he had addressed Yunxiao with honorifics. After so many years of cultivation, I will definitely not let Master down. A voice rang in Mo Xiaochuan's heart. He let out a long breath and looked up at the boundless sky. He ignored the large group of minions that were coming at him and took a light step forward. Bang! Although it was a light and unremarkable step, just like an ordinary mortal's step, it seemed to be stepping on some kind of rule. All the warriors in the Nine Heavens realm were shocked, as if the foot was not stepping on the ground, but on their hearts. With this, everyone revealed looks of surprise and doubt. That step was too ordinary, so ordinary that it was wrong. After that step, Mo Xiaochuan, who had been like an unsheathed sword, had completely concealed his aura. No martial essence could be detected from his body. He was like an ordinary mortal who had lost his luster. Young Emperor Halian's heart skipped a beat. The light in his eyes suddenly contracted as he watched Mo Xiaochuan's every move. Sword. Mo Xiaochuan raised his right hand and let out a soft cry. Immediately after, a weak sword chi spread out from his body. It spun slightly and became stronger and stronger. A sea of sword chi suddenly appeared, and his right hand became somewhat transparent in the sea of swords. A profound level weapons rhythm that made people tremble spread out from his palm, condensing into a small vortex that slowly expanded. Su Donha's pupils contracted as she stared at his palm. A green sword tip that looked like a spring bamboo shoot gradually emerged and slowly took shape. What kind of sword is this? At the same time, the martial sovereigns who were present were all shocked. They looked at the sword in shock. As the sword grew longer, the sword chi whirlpool became more and more intense. The sea of swords, which was suppressed by everyone's aura, continued to grow stronger under the sword whirlpool. It was a sign that one person could fight against an army of thousands of people. Clang. Under everyone's shocked gazes, a long sword with a green edge was completely spat out from Mo Xiaochuan's right arm. The long sword flashed with light and the runes disappeared. Mo Xiaochuan's right hand formed a sword finger and guided the Qingfeng sword to spin out a few rays of sword light. He held it horizontally in front of him and let out a strong buzzing sound. The power on the sword was like the center of a wave, setting off a restless cyclone that kept blowing outwards. The cultivators who had rushed forward were shocked. Under this kind of sword chi cyclone, the fear of death emerged. A feeling of unparalleled strength welled up in their hearts and began to spread uncontrollably. Especially the three martial emperor powerhouses, their faces turned pale. In this sea of sword chi, it was not right to rush up as that would be courting death. It was also not right to not rush up as Su Donha was still watching from behind. If things went wrong, it might be courting death as well. An ancient aura came from the green blade, as if it was praising the bloodthirst and slaughter that had happened for tens of thousands of years. There were also strange symbols condensed from golden light that constantly flashed and disappeared with the ancient aura. The sword has a spirit. Ren Guangyao was the first to exclaim in shock, it's a profound level weapon that has inherited the weapon spirit. He's only a 3-star martial emperor. To what extent can he control it? Elder Su, ask everyone to retreat to avoid unnecessary sacrifices. This person can only be restrained by an elder. Su Donha frowned and snorted, he's just a 3-star martial sovereign. So what if he has a spirit weapon? It's just another treasure for Empyrean 1 Pavilion. Elder Chiu, can you take him down? Don't worry, Great Elder. I'll take his head and stomp it to death in front of Dingling. I'll return his life to them. An old man stepped out from behind Su Donha. He was wrapped in linen clothes and had a face as clear as jade. His eyes were filled with killing intent and coldness. He shouted and rushed into the sea of sword chi, even if it's just a grain of rice, shine. As he rushed in, the sea of sword chi began to become chaotic. The originally calm sea surface began to rise and fall, creating magnificent waves. Elder Chiu snorted coldly, his eyes flashing with contempt. He was not afraid of the cyclone of sword chi at all. He waved his fists in his chi sea several times, directly disrupting the cyclone of the sea of sword chi, and turned it into an irregular force that collided in the air. This time, it was even more dangerous for the warriors in the sea of sword chi. They were so scared that they kept retreating. They escaped from the sea of sword chi, but in an instant, dozens of people retreated and looked from afar, not daring to take a step forward. Mo Xiaochuan watched Elder Chiu's actions coldly, and a disdainful smirk appeared on his face. Childish. His right hand pointed at the green blade, and with every point, a strange symbol would appear. The symbol turned into a light that rose into the sky and gradually disappeared. At the same time, he muttered, evil, permission, joy, hate, love, sound, touch, split open. As he said the word open, the Qingfeng sword, which was emitting a terrifying aura, split into two in front of Mo Xiaochuan with a clang. The left sword was extremely hot, like the sun, while the right sword was extremely cold, like the ice in the moon. The two sword chis of different attributes merged together and formed a Tai Chi fish. The entire sea of sword chi that had been disturbed was sorted out once again, forming two distinct types of extreme yin and extreme yang sword chi. They chased each other without beginning or end, endless and derived, changing and spreading out. Elder Chiu's expression changed drastically. His emperor chi of the 9 heavens was suddenly suppressed at this moment. His emperor chi circulated slower and slower under the two sword chi, as if it was difficult to trap it. Not good, this sword intent can actually evolve. Great thousand world, whirling transformation, thousand hands thousand leaves God fist. Elder Chiu did not dare to be careless anymore. He used his unique skill of birth and peace. With his arms as the foundation, he instantly turned into thousands of fist shadows. It was like an ancient shura tree, falling leaves in the light and forming its own rules. This set of fist technique contained the supreme reincarnation of plants and the rhythm of the passing of time. Back then, he had sat under an ancient tree and meditated for nearly 100 years before he could control it to this extent. His entire person seemed to have become a region of his own, independent of the world. Yunxiao's eyes were filled with surprise as he praised, "What a free and easy rule of martial intent. It's a pity that this old man isn't worthy of it." At this moment, there was no other sound except for the bleak sword intent and the sound of the wind. When Yunxiao's words reached everyone's ears, they frowned and gave him a look of disgust and disdain. Everyone had the same thought, "You're just a martial emperor junior. Don't judge others if you don't understand." Most of the souls under the sword are due to overestimating their own strength. Arrogance and underestimating the enemy are the eternal death knell. Mo Xiaochuan's cold voice rang out as he drew his sword. The two green blades suddenly began to spin, and a terrifying power, like mist and lightning, transformed into an aurora sword radiance under his control. It was as if the entire world was drawn into this sword and there was nothing else in the world other than this sword. This sword swept across the sky, shaking both the past and the present. This sword contained all of Mo Xiaochuan's power, the strongest martial intent he had comprehended. The mortal world gazes at Ing Hao Yu, the first form of the 1,000 feet noble art. Mo Xiaochuan had already used this move countless times. Even at this moment, he was still practicing the moves one by one. There was no opponent in his eyes, and only his lonely figure was left in the world. However, the moment he thrust the sword, a trace of reminiscence flashed in his eyes. It was like the scene in front of the god-eliminating cave outside Black Iron City decades ago. "Let me go, let me go." Mo Xiaochuan struggled with all his might. His blood-stained knees and his white bones were exposed. He had long been exhausted, but at this moment, he mustered up strength from God knows where and desperately beat the man named Gu Feiyang in front of him. It was because he knew where the man was going to take him. It was the tomb of the Mo family, and he had never heard of anyone coming out alive. "You want to kill me, I don't want to follow you." Mo Xiaochuan watched as the land of death drew closer and closer, and a sense of helplessness and fear welled up in his heart. He thought of his father, Uncle Wan Feng, and his brother. He couldn't help but want to cry, but he held it in. He struggled with all his might, hoping to break free from this man's demonic grasp. Enough. Gu Feiyang landed in front of an ancient cave, which was dozens of miles away from Black Iron City. For these experts, it would only take a blink of an eye. Bang. Gu Feiyang did not show the slightest bit of pity for Mo Xiaochuan, whose legs were almost broken. He slammed him directly into the cave wall, causing a sharp pain to shoot up from his spine. "You begged me to take you away. Otherwise, do you think I would want a piece of trash like you?" Mo Xiaochuan felt as if his internal organs had been shattered. He spat out a mouthful of blood and slid down from the wall. A thick trail of blood appeared behind him, but he could not see it. He could only feel a few crushed rocks falling on him. Please let me go. I don't want to die. I want to become stronger. I want to become a strong man like my father." Mo Xiaochuan bore with the excruciating pain and struggled to stand up from the ground. However, his legs were so severely injured that they were unable to support his frail body. He trembled violently and finally fell to the ground again. But he still didn't give up. Once again, he used his hands to support his body, trying to stand up. Because he felt that a man should stand at all times, and the more injured he was, the more upright he had to stand. Gu Feiyang just looked at him coldly and suddenly spat at him. Bah! The spit hit Mo Xiaochuan's forehead with a smack, causing him to flip 360 degrees in the air and land heavily on the ground. He felt as if his spine was about to break, and the pain numbed his entire lower body. You're going to kill me. You're a bad guy, I won't let you off. Mo Xiaochuan's spine was almost broken, and he could no longer feel his lower body. He could only use his 2 hands to constantly grab the ground. He grabbed a stone and threw it at Gu Feiyang's body. Well, this little trash has a backbone. Gu Feiyang snorted coldly and said sarcastically, you piece of trash, you're not even as good as my phlegm. What's the difference between you and trash? You said you were going to kill me, I was so scared, woo-woo. Mo Xiaochuan gritted his teeth in anger. He threw everything he had grabbed at the man and said fiercely, although I can't kill you, I will never be defeated by you. At least I can hate you. If I have the chance, I will definitely kill you. Gu Feiyang's eyes turned cold and he snorted, you'll never have a chance with your trashy looks. Not to mention you, even your father can't kill me. But that's good, you're going to see your father soon. When you're in the Yellow Springs, cry and let your father protect you. Mo Xiaochuan was shocked and thought to himself, no, I can't die. I still have to avenge my father and protect my brother Huayuan. Although the person in front of me is a bad person, he's extremely powerful. Even the ancestral elders aren't his match. I can't let him kill me, and I must learn all his skills. I begged you to take me out because I wanted you to take me in as your disciple, not because I wanted you to kill me. You're my father's friend. Mo Xiaochuan yelled. You can't do this to me. Gu Feiyang kicked up a stone from the tip of his foot, which grazed Mo Xiaochuan's forehead. Mo Xiaochuan cried out in pain as a gash immediately appeared on his forehead, and blood flowed out. What are you doing? You pervert, you want to torture me to death, don't you? Mo Xiaochuan's eyes were spitting fire as he gritted his teeth. It was rumored that many experts in the realm of heavenly martial arts had all kinds of perverted hobbies. Some liked to play with Lolis, and some liked to abuse boys. He thought that the person in front of him must be the latter. I just want to tell you that the weak have no right to speak, Gu Feiyang snorted coldly. Not to mention the right to speak, I don't even have the right to live or die, just like you now, your life and death are up to me. He threw a small bottle to Mo Xiaochuan's side and said, apply the medicine inside to the wounds on your body, and then get into this hole. Mo Xiaochuan's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. You're not going to kill me? If you can't see me die in this cave, would you feel any pleasure? Gu Feiyang's mouth was wide open in shock. Looking at Mo Xiaochuan's innocent face, he suddenly realized that he could not bring himself to be ruthless. He laughed bitterly and scolded, trash just loves to talk nonsense. If you don't enter the cave in the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, I'll cut off your flesh bit by bit, break your bones, and then cover you with honey to attract ants. Mo Xiaochuan's body trembled when he heard this and he broke out in a cold sweat. Even his spine, which had lost all feeling, suddenly felt a chill. He was so frightened that he kept trembling and his teeth chattered. You are really, really vicious. Gu Feiyang took out an incense stick from somewhere and smoke rose from it. He said, it's almost finished.
Ah.
Mo Xiaochuan's eyes widened and he said anxiously, this, you're cheating. How can you burn incense like this? The incense that Gu Feiyang took out did not light one end. Instead, he tapped a string of flames with his fingertips and burned the entire incense at the same time. It was about to burn out in the blink of an eye. Gu Feiyang looked at him with pity and said coldly, in any case, after the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, I will throw you in regardless of whether you have recovered or not.